few. So someone suggested that we should put them online.
Ooh.
Yeah, we should propose that to Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Phytodetrital.
You need like your top 3 favorite words from your watch.
Bathy.
Mm-hmm.
What I always love is every field I've ever been in is the number of acronyms that you have to like say and remember. I don't even know what words are half the time. It's just a bunch of letters.
It's just jargon.
Yeah.
Yeah, acronyms and jargon. That is a curse of the ROV on here.
Yeah, when I was first getting the tour of the ROV hangar and everything, I think Josh threw like 15 acronyms at me, and I'm like, wait, what do these letters mean? And he's like, for some of them, he's like, I don't know, it's just letters that we say.
I don't know.
A lot of the time that's true. You learn what the letters are, then you learn what they mean later.
Yeah. Yeah, like if you do a wilderness first aid, all the different things you're supposed to check on someone is groups of letters and words, and then you've got the science ones. And I had to take a conference call with Inner Space Center on my way to a wedding. And so I'm in this car for 4 hours with my family, and for an hour and a half of it, all I'm saying is letters. And my mom was like, what on earth are you saying? I got off the phone and she was like, all I heard was
turn that off.
SPLMTU with the NCC and the this and the that and the MOUSE.
You see that Tina Flo, Ben?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I would say I think when I joined an engineering lab after being in more biology-focused labs, they're the worst with the acronyms. It's from every end.
Engineers.
Yes. So annoying. Because it's like the software, the hardware, the whatever, everything's an acronym. And there's all this proprietary lingo.
Preposterous.
That doesn't really have true definition, like hotel
what?
cable. Like a hotel cable. It's like any.
That's
pretty standard.
Here.
Yeah,
Well,
but like you can't Google it, and it's not in a textbook. It's like not.
Hotel.
Yeah.
The Hamptons.
It's not a cable from a hotel. It's not specifically a coaxial
It's
cable.
not for a DoubleTree bottle.
Right, exactly. It's like all these things. Trying to think
It is
of
standard
other
across
ones.
ROV industry, though.
Yeah, across the RV industry, I guess.
Yeah.
What does a hotel cable do? Now I'm intrigued.
That gives you your power to, and your main
I
power.
heard it.
So when we measure our voltage, we call it the hotel voltage, is the main 120 volt voltage in our bottles.
Yes.
But I thought it could be used generically for anything that's not directly related to propulsion. So there can be a lot of hotel cable.
I would not call.
I've never heard of hotel cable outside of this industry.
Yeah, not outside of this
Even
Well,
in
I feel like my
AUV
lab
work, I've
uses it
never heard
very
of hotel
liberally
cables.
as like any cable that powers something outside of blank or.
I guess. So I guess if you're talking about the CTD, the cable that connects to CTD would be the CTD's hotel cable.
Right.
But on the ROV, you would never refer to that as the hotel cable because it's the main system is the ROV itself, so you'd call that the hotel cable.
Got it.
I guess you could call it the CTD hotel cable, or the Ethernet bottle hotel cable.
Right.
Or the whatever.
If it was a separate piece of equipment, if you had it as a standalone piece of equipment, you'd have a hotel cable for that piece. But because it's
But because it's part of the ROV, the hotel cable on the ROV refers to the
main
hotel
bottle.
cable for the main bottle. Yeah.
Got you.
So
And
all
is it a
the modular
connection? Is
things
it like a special type of connection, or is it actually like the physical cable itself, or is it?
It's the cable itself.
It's the
And it
cable
doesn't
itself?
denote any type of cable.
Like you say, it's not like.
Yeah, exactly. Because I remember asking about a specific hotel cable one of my first lab meetings, and it's like, oh, it's a 326 coax. And I was like, oh, okay, that's what a hotel cable is.
Obviously.
It's like, no,
And it's
that's
not.
that's not at all what it is.
It refers to more as how it's used versus
Right,
the,
exactly. It's its function.
Yeah.
Like a class of.
But there's a lot of those, I find, like these very, very proprietary words that are broad in meaning. And
especially like.
though they hit the
someone said-
biologist lingo too. So.
Totally, but that's probably more like even a lot of the ROV ones are like some goofy term someone came up with once and it stuck. Like there's a lot of terms for different arm movements that are just weird.
Like
So there's one if you're like inside, like kind of all back-wristed, all up close into the vehicle, and you're at a joint limit, and you can't move anymore. But what you can do is you can move, like we were practicing earlier, moving the whole arm about the end
Oh,
effector.
yeah.
And then, so you're stuck at one point. You move it so the end doesn't move, but the rest of the arm moves around it, and then you have more flexibility. And that's called a reverse Suzuki.
A reverse Suzuki. Is there a forward Suzuki?
There's no forward Suzuki. There's so many of those stupid terms.
That's
that are
so
like,
funny.
and then now I'm trying to think of them all, and I can't remember.
I was going to say, do you know who coined these
I
original
actually
terms?
do know the original coiner of
Dr.
reverse
Suzuki.
Suzuki. No, it's
No.
not even.
Dr. Seuss.
Oh yeah, if you have the, if you've worked with serial communications, there's a TX and RX or an uplink downlink kind of thing, and if you have them, people get them backwards all the time, and the term we use is you have them herky-verky.
Herky-verky.
If the thing's plugged into the wrong side, like, or you try to plug your USB drive upside down, it's kind of the same thing. You have a 50-50 shot, and usually you have it backwards, so it's herky-verky. Is that working? No, it's herky-verky. Let's switch it. Okay.
I like that. Herky-verky.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm going to think of that every time I put my USB stick into my computer the wrong way now, which happens quite frequently. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
Yeah, you got it plugged it in herky-verky.
Herky-verky.
Hey, actually, that might not be right. I think you have to have two things that are backwards instead of, you know what I mean? Instead of just
But if they were
upside down.
both backwards, surely they'd
Oh.
fit.
Like,
It would have to be...
thing A plugged into B and thing B plugged into A.
Oh,
And it would
okay.
actually have to fit. Right. Because the USB cable you couldn't...
Right, you
I
couldn't
mean,
connect it, yeah. Yeah, that's specific. And not really necessary.
Well,
Why is Argus oriented this way?
It is
this
not.
way?
So, Dr. Marsh,
I'm not
someone's
sure.
interested in your
Sorry?
I don't
Antarctica
understand
study.
why
Do you have
the
anything
display
on
is oriented
YouTube
this
or
way.
any
displays
place
the
where
sensor
people can
data
look at
from
pictures or information on
This
that?
sensor, which doesn't work.
Sure. Let me just have a think. I know there are some
no way
highlights
to
on
change
YouTube. I think if
Obviously.
you Google East Scotia Ridge hydrothermal vents or Hoff crab. To be honest, I think Hoff crab might do it.
How do you spell that?
Hoff,
Okay.
like David Hasselhoff,
Okay.
and then crab.
All right.
I think there'll certainly be a lot of images. There might be some that you don't want to see if you put Hoff crab in as well, because there'll be the images next to the well-known Baywatch star. But yeah, there should be a lot of images, so you make sure you put crab at the end. But there's certainly videos on YouTube and images that are available on the website.
Do they have anything on the expedition itself?
No, not that I'm aware, because I think it was a number of years ago. So I first went down there in 2009, 2010.
Mm-hmm.
So we did have a blog at the time, but I don't know if that's still hosted. So there's no website for the project, and the project has since finished. But there is certainly some YouTube videos that are still online. And it was from the University of Southampton as well, which was the lead academic institute at the time.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Someone said they ate sea cucumber once and it tastes like cardboard.
Really? I would have said Jell-O.
I've never tasted cardboard though.
I always
You get a
figure
little piece of it every once in a while when you...
I like to keep some good cardboard in my diet for some fiber.
I tuned out for a sec. What are you talking about?
You don't munch on cardboard?
Nope. I haven't.
You didn't
won't.
bring some up for a watch snack?
Nope.
Oh,
What? do you-
No, someone said they ate sea cucumber once and it tasted like cardboard.
Oh,
so
I
I
see.
was saying I've not tasted cardboard.
Yeah, you think about it. People do use that as a reference quite often. And
I
like,
know.
what? Who do we? Where do we get that from?
Where
From
do
our
you get
cardboard
more
snacks,
of
it's
those
Someone
things,
may
Yeah.
have
right?
chewed on cardboard, and we're like, wow, this tastes very similar to sea
We all
cucumbers.
did it as a child. We just don't remember it in infancy. I should say we do remember it.
I know, we all say that. Mm-hmm.
I always thought communion wafers in church tasted like cardboard.
Bland, nothing to it.
But yeah, I always assume you look at a sea
Exactly.
cucumber and I figured it'd be something like more like an oyster.
Exactly.
Speaking of snacks, does anyone want some nuts? I got a collection of nuts here.
I'd rather have a regular cucumber. Thank you.
Our safety officer, George, saw all of the sea cucumbers in the video feed, and he was saying he should throw them in his salad.
The Solmeris. It's a Narcomedusa. So it's kind of Narcomedusa have these really these really short bells with these tentacle sheaths, and they're common in the Pacific. They forage with. They have this weird behavior where they have like two tentacles above the bell. But we think for foraging, but it's not. It's not clear why they're doing that. We've seen it in other image data. Yeah. But they actually they they their locomotion is reverse of what you think, so they're going actually towards the tentacles.
Does anyone recall what the cells are that enable octopus to camouflage? Certain cells that enable them to like camouflage themselves. So Lee, someone wrote, is this called East Scotia Ridge Expedition?
Lee's actually not in the van right now.
Okay.
She'll be back in a little bit.
But if you leave a message, she'll get back to you.
Okay, thank you. No, someone found it online, is what I'm saying, the website. I believe that's what she was speaking about. There we go. Thank you for answering. Octopus use the chromatophores in their skin to both change color and texture. Chromatophores, that's the word I was looking for. Appreciate it. Another word to go on the word wall.
Yeah, that is a wild thing. Octopopple. I am trying very, very hard to make octopopple the plural of octopus. Octopado.
Avocado.
Avocado. But an avocado is already
group of
a thing.
octopus. Avocado.
Some guacamole. It's your avocado sushi.
No, that's what they ink out.
I just love octopopple. I think it is way more fun to say than octopi.
Octopado.
But I think
Octopi is wrong.
is it? Is it octopuses?
It's octopodal. Octopodal.
It's because it's octopopple. Yeah.
Nautilus
Sure.
Live audience, please settle this debate.
I know that what I'm saying is not correct. I'm just trying to make it the new term.
I am 100% not correct. Avocado is not it.
But I do find octopopple to be very fascinating.
I'm going to have students who will come and tell me that they heard it on the web.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You heard it here, folks.
You heard it from Nautilus Live.
Oh, boy.
I
Obviously.
heard of octopus.
That's not true.
called avocado.
I do have a degree in wildlife, so I can claim some expertise in this.
I have a degree basically in math. I have no say. I have no say.
I have the credentials to make this a new word.
My old advisor, he was an ichthyologist, but he told me that the plural of octopus is octopus. But I have been told that's wrong.
Like
But I
deer?
like that explanation. It's
Like
the
deer
most
or
simple
fish or-
version, yeah.
Moose and meese.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what I was told too. It's just octopus, not octopi.
I watched some informational video where someone said mooses, and I was like, oh, honey, no.
Sweetheart. Innocent child.
Sweet summer child.
Ignorant to the world.
So I have a question for everyone. If you had a trait, okay, so if we could get CRISPR to put in some kind of traits in your genes, what is one that you would like to have?
Be able to fly. We're including this as like superpower traits. I want to be able to fly.
Okay. I like the whole chromatophores. Being able to blend in, wouldn't that be fascinating?
That would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well be invisible.
With 8 arms. I'd love to have, 8 arms.
Yeah?
You'd
You'd
so
be
I could
able-
do more.
You'd be so good at multitasking.
Right, exactly.
I want super speed or teleportation.
That'd be fun. Trevor, Ben, what do you guys say?
The ability to hold my heart like I can hold my breath.
What?
Interesting.
I don't know if that's like
Man.
deep or
You know, I've heard of like monks being able to do that with meditation. They can control their heart rate to extreme levels on either end. Just go
So
to a
immortality.
I've never heard of that before.
just keep a defibrillator in your pocket.
Ben, you're up.
I'd
All the
have
pressure's
a
on you.
gene that would give me more wishes.
Where's
Just grant yourself wishes all the
The
time.
genie gene?
Right, a gene.
Yeah,
exactly.
just like massage
genie.
my
Even
right
the
shoulder.
gene.
Okay, I'll go with the genie gene if that's a thing, because then I'll just wish to fly and
There
wish
you
to
go.
do whatever. And
I'll just call Ben. Hey, Ben.
The cheating answer.
way to go,
Yeah.
Ben. I'll take it. All right, Aubrey, you're up.
She would have a gene that would not force her to log data every 5 minutes.
Or answer these questions.
Or answer these questions.
Okay, here's one. What's your
Ooh.
second favorite vegetable?
Why not your first?
Well, everyone knows you're first.
What's the first?
I don't know if I know my
I want
first.
to talk about that. Talk about your second.
Can I name my first first?
I think I need to establish what my first might be.
See, this is a thought experiment. Can
My
you do it without
first-
establishing your first favorite?
Okay, I won't say it, but I know what it is. My second favorite vegetable is
Olives are technically a fruit, right?
ew. Olives are gross.
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
My entire perspective of life is wrong. Huh.
After you finish that one, which one could you live without? Okay. Or maybe not live without. That's the one I really would think
Which
about
what?
more. Which vegetable?
Carrots.
You wouldn't be able to live without.
Carrots.
Kurtz?
I love carrots.
I love potatoes. Potatoes you can do anything with.
Potatoes are vegetables?
That is, I believe they are.
Is that a
They're not
A
meat.
tuber, but I'm just saying
tomatoes
what
are
we would,
vegetables?
what we
Tomatoes
would
are fruit.
consider
Tomatoes
them.
are fruit, guys.
Tomato,
Let's
yes,
not get
tomatoes
too
are fruit.
biologically. Yeah.
I just saw a very inspiring thing from Cookie Monster. It was very enlightening. If tomatoes are fruits, then that means ketchup is actually jelly.
Oh my god, I love
I think it's
ketchup.
juice.
Yeah, I don't think Heinz
Juice.
ketchup is.
I think
Ketchup
no.
is juice.
Bad.
Fruit
Ket-
juice.
I believe this
Ketchup,
is
ew.
juice.
No, the watery part of the bottle that you try to shake out, that's the juice.
Ah, right.
No.
Ugh.
Ketchup is just tomato jam.
I think it's
I
mostly
go
sugar.
for the juice.
I
Just like
believe it
jam.
came from China,
yeah, I guess it's
actually.
Really?
Catsup. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
If tomatoes are
Yeah.
fruit, then cucumber's a fruit.
That is correct.
I'm
Cucumber
not sure.
is a fruit.
That might be a hearsay thing.
And
Most-
peppers.
Most things that people consider
Yeah,
vegetable
are
is
green bell
actually a fruit.
peppers vegetables or fruit?
And red bell peppers.
They're fruits. If they have seeds, they're fruits.
Right.
Is corn
if
a
they
fruit?
have seeds. No.
Because corn is
Well,
the
the
seeds.
kernel is the seed.
I
Touche.
believe, that's a good question. I don't know about corn. But like the leafy greens, those are your vegetables, like celery and lettuce.
Spinach.
Spinach, yep.
Spinach is a vegetable?
Spinach is a vegetable.
Okay, that's my second favorite vegetable.
That's a good one. That's a good
Found
one.
it.
Depends if you define grains as vegetables, I guess. Or fruits. Like obviously processed grains like breads are just grain.
Or
but
are they just not either? Are they just grains?
Is corn a grain then? I would say yes.
Corn's freaking me out. I don't know what to think about
What is
corn.
corn?
I don't know
What
what
even is
corn is.
corn?
Corn's
GMO.
having an identity crisis at the moment.
Okay, so someone has it. Please share this with the world.
Let's do it.
The word octopus originated from the Greek language. The technical plural form would be octopidae.
Octopidae.
I like octopidae.
D-A-E on the end.
I've heard
Octopidae.
octopodes like that.
Uh-huh,
I think that's similar.
octopidae.
Thank you.
Well, octopods would be
Thank
like
you.
tetrapoda, and so it's classification of the type of
Oh, okay.
how many legs the animal has, because
Gotcha.
pod means foot.
There you go.
Octopidae. Are there any other words that have that ending?
Sure. Well, because pod, ped is a reference to your feet.
Octopidae.
So if something
okay.
else is a pede animal.
Huh.
That's why I find Latin so fascinating. Once you learn like the basis of the words, you can pretty much figure out anything.
Latinating.
Latinating? Is that like laminating, but with Latin?
Yep. Covering
Well, I
your
did share.
paper
I
in
hope
Latin.
you've enjoyed our sharing. Thank you to your father for figuring that out.
Yes, thank you. I'm still trying to make octopopple a thing, though.
I'm still voting for avocado.
The debate of Cassidy and Jess. Who will win? Nautilus Live.
The
Determine
Nautilus
it.
Live listener who said, what is it, octopidae?
Octopidae.
He wins. Or she. They win.
Oh, that was beautiful. Whatever just flew in front of Herc.
Yeah.
So who in here likes seaweed? You like the seaweed chips?
I love seaweed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a
I
big
love
fan.
to look at it.
Not to eat it.
I also love to eat it.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about something, another aspect of it, often forgotten.
I think my second favorite vegetable might be cauliflower. Mashed cauliflower is really good.
It is. Like potatoes, when they make it into like a mashed potato for ketogenic diets.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I tried it once, and I actually like it more than mashed potatoes. Still do the, butter. I cook them with butter and garlic, and it's good
Sounds
stuff.
delicious.
Did you say it's 3:30? Oh.
Thanks.
Is Dr. Marsh back?
She is, yes.
Well, I'd like you to know that someone has the whole URL here for your photo blog and about East Scotia Ridge Expedition blog week 4. They're following that.
Okay, I just got back onto headset. That's great. I'm glad they found some images online. That's awesome.
The doctor is in the house.
NOC.ac.uk website.
Hey Lee, the next Niskins are at 150 meters.
That is correct, Trevor.
Thank you.
I guess so. Other than like the strangest or weirdest, what's the most fascinating or beautiful thing you've seen in the ocean during your expeditions? Something that stands out. Anyone?
Go ahead,
Oh,
Lee.
no, sorry. Thanks, Jess. I think a highlight for me was actually last year, and I think we mentioned it earlier when we were using the low light camera, and we saw the deep staria.
That was
Was that 2 years ago?
beautiful
I'm being told
image.
that was 2 years ago.
No, I think
Time
was
flies.
It 2? Wow. Yeah, that was some beautiful imagery.
Where was I last year? What did I do?
Low EE.
I was at, thank you for reminding me of what's happened in my life. Yes, I was in Loihi last year and then Mexico the previous year.
You know, I usually get stuck in these like YouTube rabbit holes where you just keep clicking on the next video, and I ended up in the like deep sea monsters never seen before, and it was before the date of the video was before you guys got Deep Staria, but it was the same image, and it was from a like an oil rig.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
people were calling it a whale placenta.
Yes. Yeah, there's been a lot of things that people have thought Deep Staria was, and you're absolutely right. And a lot of them have been from oil rigs and footage from ROVs around oil rigs.
And I remember when I saw it, because I saw it after having seen Deep Staria, and I was like, oh my god, I know this one. Super excited.
Well, just so you know, there's a litany here of your expeditions, Dr. Marsh, that someone knows, from 13 Cayman Rise, 14 seafloor mapping. They just sent a whole list.
Oh, you've
no,
got a
that's
fan
great.
club.
No, I think they've actually put them, I think nowadays as well, I think they've actually added them to our Nautilus Live profiles.
Oh, which ones we've been on?
Yeah, which ones you've been on, which
I'm
is
curious
really
about
useful.
that.
So I really appreciate someone actually sending that in at the same time. But yeah, they all start to merge after a number of years. So yeah, I get
kind
a
of
bit
don't want to know
confused.
that number about myself.
I can't wait till I accumulate that number.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah,
It's a
there's
good problem
whole
to
list
have.
Here. It's amazing.
You've had too much fun.
Exactly. Too much fun. Can never have too much science.
You've worked for it. You deserve it.
You ever done that? This one? Yeah, this one? You not seen this? Yeah.
Of course, yeah. Last year was
Only when
Loihi
there's-
and Papahana Makuakea National Monument. That was really cool. Was that a big red, Ben?
Do I? Yes.
Was it big red?
Missed
Did
it.
someone see that?
Say it again.
I think I saw
The
that.
big red jelly.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
I saw it, Lee. You're not crazy.
I'm not crazy. No, that's good.
I'm not crazy. It's the other guy.
I'm definitely crazy, but
But in a good way.
yeah.
A controlled fashion.
In a
Okay, so
I'm
I
a
see you're in
controlled
the-
crazy.
You did the Kickham Jenny submarine volcano project.
I did.
Oh, can you share that? Because there's a big poster outside the studio on the boat, and I was very curious about that.
There is. So Kickham Jenny is a submarine volcano. And we explored it, maybe you can remind me, in 2014? 15?
15.
15?
Mhm.
I think there might have been 2 sequential years that the EV Nautilus was there. And I actually wasn't on board as a scientist at the time. I was on board as a data logger. But we were actually looking at the activity at the top of the volcano, and there was actually a little bit of venting there. We were also, so I think the thing you were looking at, Susan, so in our studio, actually outside our studio on the Nautilus, we have some full-size image mosaics. So Chris Roman, who leads the lab that K2, our mapper, Chris Kronowski, is in, and Ben, our navigator
doing?
now, they have a laser mapping system and a stereo camera system that they mount on Hercules. And actually, I think the image you're looking at is actually a seep site. So the seeps associated with the Kickham Jenny volcano actually come from a submarine landslide where all of the sides of the volcano have actually collapsed or have squeezed all the hemipelagic sediments. So that's all the sediments from the surface waters where all that phytodetrital fallout and all that organic matter is. And what it's done is all of the compression of those sediments is actually squeezing out organic matter and creating a cold seep. And so we were actually mapping the cold seeps along the sides of the volcanoes as well. And so there was some large mussels associated with those seeps.
That's
Phytodetrital
exactly what that picture
fallout.
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that I was looking at. And I said, I'm really curious about that. Thank you.
It was very cool.
Mhm.
Very, very cool.
Fascinating.
Roger.
Yeah, the Kickham volcano and the lesser known, I think there was another one we mapped called Kickham Jack as well, which isn't anywhere near as active.
Where did they come up with these names?
I
Speaking of
actually
names.
have no idea, I'm afraid.
I know it's not British.
Nope.
No. We definitely know that.
This is weird. No.
Yeah, they're just off the coast of Grenada, so I don't know if it's
Oof.
in the Lesser Antilles.
So
So
I
I
got that much in me.
don't know.
15.
The
Yikes.
British Virgin
It's locked
Islands,
now.
it says, yeah, to Grenada.
Oh, so it says the name itself may be reference to the waters sometimes being extremely rough in the area.
Oh, the Kickham Jenny?
Yeah.
Maybe it is British. From the olden time. That's interesting. Yeah, British Virgin Islands seamount seafloor mapping.
Oh no, it's off the coast. Yeah, it's not near the BBIs. It's off of Grenada.
So it says British Virgin Islands to Grenada, Kickham Jenny's.
Oh, that was, yeah, so the expedition was, we mapped from the BVIs to Grenada. So there was one leg of mapping, and then when we got to Grenada, we did the Kickham Jenny submarine volcano, just off the coast. I think that was my longest stint on board, actually. I think I was on for 3 or 4 expeditions that year.
Nice, very nice. Have you written a book, Dr. Marsh?
No, I have not. No, I have not written a book.
Perhaps this is an opportunity to write a book.
I actually find writing a real struggle. I find it hard to write scientific papers as well, which is what I should be doing with my time. But I believe Dr. Willis has written a book.
He has, and that's where I was leading is when I was at the orientation for the Science Communication Fellows. He was telling me about the ecology of the hydrothermal vents book, to purchase that. But he never mentioned his own. And then when I was looking for the other book, I stumbled upon his. I'm like, you know, he's very humble. and excuse me, I didn't bring it with me, but I do have it at home. But yes, he has written a book. So I'm saying, with all of your expertise here, it would be fascinating just to put one together, even if it didn't have to be, it wouldn't have to be scientific, just for the general population to become more aware of the types of expeditions.
Maybe one day.
One day.
One day. As I say, it's not something that comes naturally to me. Some people are very good natural writers and have a good narrative. I struggle. I'm happy to talk about it.
Well, if you can talk about it, you can write about it. See? And you're very articulate and you explain things clearly to everyone. So maybe just record it, then transcribe it, and then you can modify it.
Yeah, I think the transcription service is one of those key things, because sometimes, you know, it's easy to talk about things, but then that actual physical act of writing it is the challenge.
So this
Even
is
for writers.
I was going to say this is a term I learnt the other day from Dr. John Willis, who's on board, the term ghostwriter, which I didn't realise was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that is actually a thing, isn't it, where people actually have a writer and they will narrate their book, or they will just be interviewed, and then the ghostwriter will actually write their book for them or on their behalf. And I didn't know that was a thing.
There's also that, I think it's called Dragon software or something, where it's just a transcription tool that you download into your computer, and you just talk to it, and it writes for you.
It still has to be a really good narrative, though. I still wouldn't be able to do that because you need to really think about your story and have a nice thread from beginning to end. And again, there are people that do have that naturally. As I say, I think John on board is very good at that. He's a brilliant storyteller.
He is a great storyteller.
Yeah.
I wonder though if you could have a biography that's set up like an anthology where it's just a collection of your stories in whatever order you choose to tell them. And each chapter is just another cool story like you would tell around the kitchen table. I wonder if that would be received well by audiences.
Only if you have good stories.
True.
That is true.
So
There are
someone
some-
just wrote in. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Susan.
Well, he said, he or she, Z, I would definitely buy and read a book by Lee. The more rambly, the better. If you can't tell, that's how we like it.
It would certainly be rambly, that is for sure.
So you've got a guaranteed buyers
It's one sale.
in the Nautilus Live community.
Oh, and then someone has a suggestion here. Maybe Dr. Marsh could do talking books. She's very easy to listen to, as I'm still here knitting. I totally subscribe to that from here. Mm-hmm.
You guys,
Aw,
you're
Lee,
making
got
me
a little
blush.
Fan club.
Lee, you should start a podcast.
Seriously.
Just
We've
record
all
them.
said that about
Record
you.
them during blue water. Guaranteed time to get it done.
You guys are making me blush back here.
Aww.
You ever thought about writing short stories, novellas?
Novelas.
No.
Neither have I.
I was going to say, have you?
Nope, sure haven't.
Travis Adventures on the Ocean Waves.
Ed does that a lot. He'll ask a question thinking, like, it comes out like he's going to tell you the answer, but then he's like, I don't know, you going to tell me? Ooh,
Ooh, what's that?
I think that was a big red.
Is that Big Red? So Big Red is a jelly that's found in this area. And I think the genus name is Tiburonia, which is named after the ROV that's at Mbari, called Tiburon.
Oh,
So they're
okay.
named-
Shark
Yeah, like shark in Spanish,
in
absolutely.
Spanish. Mm-hmm.
Boop.
540 meters to go until we fire some Niskins.
I'm waiting with bated breath.
Yep.
Ooh.
Something cool just swam by.
Mhm.
Ooh,
Yeah, I have
there
no
you
idea what
go.
it is. Ooh, Ben, that's
Hello.
one for you.
Yeah, it's a Narcomedusa again.
There we go.
Yeah, they're neat ones. Their locomotion is towards the tentacles, and they have this very small, narrow bell that they pulse, kind of, very small compression they have.
That's interesting.
They can kind of bloom.
So Ben, you understand a lot of the locomotion that different species use, right? No,
No.
just for those, because you're also talking about the
Th-
locomotion of
well,
those
those
deep sea fish.
I had specifically looked at some image data where we had seen this weird conformation of their tentacles, and we were kind of trying to tease it out from that. We had seen a huge abundance of these, kind of diffuse, not in this layered,
Structure.
a thin layer or something. But yeah,
Oh, what is that thing?
it's a siphonophore. It's a calicopheran one that has kind of like a helmet, like a one big zoid bell on top.
What is calicopheran?
It's like it's either, I think it's the family. So that's as far as I can take us with the Siphonophores. Calicopheridae. Saw the very transparent larvaceous house. So there's sometimes you see these aggregates of particulates that are kind of ovate that look just like suspended together, and that's kind of a lot of times these fresh larvation houses. But then you can see them themselves. They kind of look pteropod-like, like they're not heart-shaped, but something akin to that. And they house these little tadpole-like larvations in them.
Look at butt cam, a down cam.
Mm.
So we're off the coast.
Still there?
in
I just died.
California. Mm-hmm.
What?
Go ahead.
This is not working again.
Yeah, I'm curious if we're going to see a lot of
thought that was
mesopelagic
gonna be
fishes
something
as we go through at this hour at the surface. They kind of have these diel patterns, these massive migrations. So I saw the footage the other day where they went through this field of myctophids, the lanternfish.
We actually got one caught on the ROV, I think. One came up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Aubrey had it.
Breakfast. No. Oh, no.
So Trevor,
Hello.
someone would buy tickets. It says here to a deep sea ROV stand-up comedy show done by Trevor.
Hello, Trevor
I'd watch
Fan
it.
Club.
How do
I'd
you
watch
do
it.
that?
You mean Nautilus Live?
The entirety of
Would we
the
fund our
last
expeditions through tickets?
I have a challenge for you, Trevor. Get a 3-armed ROV and juggle.
3 arms? Why 3 arms?
Right, yeah.
Well, because you have to juggle with 3 arms. It's, or I guess you could do 2 arms. It's, I'm
Just
just
like
three. Yeah, I was thinking 3 objects, 2
Yeah.
arms. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that.
There's your challenge.
2 objects and 3 arms.
I'll throw an extra arm in. There's the actual challenge.
Oh, man.
2's too easy.
Roger.
We're sorry about
Working
the
on it.
audio distortion. It's been brought to the attention of the technicians on the quad channel, but presently there isn't anything we can do about it. Sorry.
Do we know which feed it is?
It's on the quad channel, and
Can-
Wayne was
Susan, can
talking
you
about it
repeat
earlier
yourself?
today.
What did they see?
Audio distortion.
Audio distortion in the quad channel.
Mm-hmm.
Should there be audio coming from the? Oh, that's a Jess thing.
That is a me thing. So
Think of
our delivery at the moment is showing clear from our channels, and so there may be something we'll have to talk to our partners about our other audio pathways.
That's what he was saying. It's at the other end, at the possibly at the ISC.
And it is always possible it could be your computer, how it's receiving the signal. So always try refreshing the page. If there's anything I have learned on this internship, it's that that cliche of to just try turning it off and back on again is actually the most real thing you could ever do to troubleshoot.
Is it a cliche?
I always thought it was a
Or is it
cliche.
a troubleshooting technique?
It is a troubleshooting technique, but I grew up thinking it was a joke.
If you call it power cycling, it
Yeah,
becomes
it's
robust.
power cycle.
Oh, let's power cycle it.
I like that.
Let's blow in the
Sounds more
cartridge.
professional.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Blow
Power
the
cycle.
cartridge, yeah.
Rather than turn it off, turn it on.
Yep, yep.
Power cycle it.
Oh, we're gonna
Power
need a
cycle your
power cycle
laptop.
here. Off.
Bring that home to your parents. Oh, you know what? Let me power cycle it for you. Oh, wow. How do
Power
you do
cycle,
that?
wow. It's like a bicycle, but electric? No, Mom, it's more technical than that. Way more technical.
Turn it off.
It's very highly technical. You need to spend a month at sea to learn how to do it.
So we're off the coast of Northern California, Oregon, as well, and we are at Gorda Ridge at the bottom of the Juan de Fuca Plate. And NASA subsea scientists are collecting samples from the hydrothermal vents to study their microbiology and geological composition.
We've actually got quite a relatively light sample load compared to yesterday. Yesterday we were filled up to the brim with in our bio boxes with the colonization experiments and lots of different rock types and filters and bags from our super sampler, which one of our scientists, Eric, brought on board. But today I think we just have 2 colonization experiments to bring back up. Is that correct, Aubrey?
Oh, we've still got all the other super sample stuff.
Oh,
just
yeah.
no rocks.
No
Niskins.
rocks.
Got
Oh, and then
Niskins.
It's pretty much everything.
Don't forget the
yeah,
Niskins.
everything but rocks.
I think when they're not like physical I know water is a physical
with
sample, but yeah, we're not full to the brim with rocks. Yesterday we're busting at the seams. We had rocks in our IGT crate.
Rocks in our pockets.
Yeah, we
Rocks
have
in the
IGTs
pockets.
too.
We have IGTs. Don't tell Sean I forgot those.
Yeah,
I feel like he'll never forgive me.
You were just building suspense.
I was.
Yeah.
Just ramping up to the huge sample load that we have on board tonight.
so used to rocks. If it's not a rock, to completely forget about it.
Yup.
I think we got some really nice rock samples yesterday.
I think so.
Did anyone else collect rocks as a kid?
Oh, yeah.
Still do it.
I do too.
I have one bookshelf in my room that's dedicated to my rock collection.
My entire room is full of rocks. like every dresser top, and I have a whole bookshelf like that's made for books. That's just my entire rock collection.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You
I wonder
gotta
how it
like,
compares to Jess Sandoval's.
Does she have a bunch of rocks
She has
too?
a bunch of samples.
oh, she takes the samples home.
Anything that can't be used for science, such as
Yeah.
something that she finds on the vehicle that can't be classified at just a specific sample location that would otherwise be wasted, she enjoys.
We
She
gave her a
enjoys.
tube worm the other night, and she was so excited. She
Yeah.
thanked us like 5 times, was like giving us hugs. She's like, oh my gosh, I got a tube worm for my birthday.
That was on her birthday. Yeah, that was great.
Oh, that's so cute. She's adorable. Didn't she say too? She takes the little the little critters that end up in the sample tubes and gives them to her like cousins or something.
Yeah, the ones that are stuck and
Yeah.
like not properly sampled. Yeah. Instead of just throwing them away, she like preserves them and gives them to her family.
So with your rock samples, Aubrey, do you write on them where you've got them from?
A lot
Do you
of them
have-
have
yeah.
tags on the bottom.
They have tags or something.
Such
I
a
should
scientist.
imagine. Yeah, I was going to say, that's where I went wrong. I should have done that at the start. But mine are all in a big vase that I've turned into a lamp.
Mine are just in some bowls and on the shelf just for display. I have a geode that I have never cracked open just because I don't want to. I don't know why. Like I should crack it open so I can see. Like I know
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
I know it's a geode, but I don't know why I have this thing against actually cracking it open. One of these days, I'm hoping I'll like stumble across a fossil.
I believe in you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you, Trevor.
Last year I was on a dinosaur dig in Montana
Ooh.
with the University of Washington. It was amazing, and there were so many geologists and paleobiologists, and they were teaching us how to find microfossils and distinguish them from rocks as well. It was truly amazing.
Yeah,
And so
that-
you have to put them to your tongue,
Oh, it was working. Wow.
You were licking rocks?
I'll save it there.
You were
Um,
licking fossils?
Licking?
Yes.
She's like, Sam, can you lick the science?
Aubrey, can you help me out on this, please? Explain. Yeah, they're like
Explain
more
again.
porous that when they have fossils, and so it kind of sticks to your tongue a little bit. So when I found like a piece of ancient turtle shell,
Weird.
I wasn't really sure if it was a rock or not. So they said stick it to your tongue. And so because it's more porous, it, like through capillary action, it kind of sticks to your tongue.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So that's what they tell you to do. You have to lick them.
So
Not the rocks, if you're looking for fossils. Yeah.
um,
But sometimes there are rocks in there you can't distinguish between them.
if anyone out there was following along earlier on, there was a huge conversation about Samantha licking gooey substances off the ROV and saying that they tasted like other gooey substances that she had licked off the ROV prior. And
Who's this?
Samantha Wishneck is very fond of tasting whatever critter comes off of the ROV. And so she and I went through this article. It was called "Can You Lick the Science?" And there was a bunch of things, and they went through each different science. And in geology, they said sometimes necessary to lick the science. So apparently, that is true. And then for zoology, they said science licks you, which is accurate.
This is the late night Nautilus show, yeah, where you can't tell the kids to do that. They'll lick everything.
Yeah.
Right, when I
Cassidy's
give them
right.
safety contracts in biology, right? You're not never to taste anything.
This is adults only, Nautilus Live. Do not lick the science, kids at home. Unless instructed by an adult.
An experienced science licker.
Huh.
Yeah, if ask Sam about it.
How are we doing with our ETA to surface, Trevor? Are we on
27
target?
minutes, 10 seconds.
9, 8, 7.
Blast off.
Say what?
So is there time at 7
Yeah.
a.m. or 8 a.m. in the morning
We
for the
should.
dive?
I believe it's 8 a.m. for the
8
next
a.m.,
dive.
okay.
That is correct, yeah. So we have a 4-hour turnaround on deck. And then straight
for the
back in
next
the
shift,
water at
yeah.
8.
Okay.
Sorry? Medium, normal. Yeah, that'll be fine.
So, Trevor and Cassidy, are you guys going to help with that on-deck turnaround at all? Or no?
No, I'm gonna take a nap. 100%.
See ya. The way it works is if everything's status quo, if everything's working, which touch wood it still will be.
Touch
We'll
wood?
go.
What?
Touch wood.
No.
Knock on wood?
Yeah. What?
What? No, it's touch wood.
No,
I'm with you,
knock
Trevor.
on
It's
wood.
knock on
not-
wood.
It's not touch wood.
They're
No,
both
Knock
interchangeable.
on wood.
Look at that. So there we go. Knock on wood is American, I'm getting, and touch wood's UK, and because
Yep.
I'm Canadian, both are acceptable.
Ah.
That's what I'm going with. Anyway, knock on touching wood. What are we talking about? Oh yeah.
I was sleeping.
everything-
Shift change
if
with you
everything's
guys
good,
getting off.
If everything's good, like wood, then
Like, not you kids. Go back to sleep.
then we'll go to sleep. And if something's broken or needs some non-standard maintenance, shall we say, then it's up to us to stay up a little later and help them out if required. That's how our shifts work.
Cool beans.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get some sleep.
She says with a yawn.
It's just me and you, Trevor.
Speaking the Queen's English.
Yep.
We're in this together.
But you guys say knock on wood, not even just knock wood.
Yeah,
No,
no,
knock on
knock.
wood.
Yeah, you knock on
I'd
wood.
say knock on wood as well. I'd say both.
But you don't say touch on
I've
wood.
never
You say
said
touch
that.
wood.
Not touch on.
Just touch it.
You wouldn't knock the door. You'd knock
No.
on the door.
Knock on the door. Touch the door.
You knock the door down.
Touch wood.
Unrelated
touch
to the saying. I'm
Touch
just
door.
saying in general, if you were to go back,
In terms
Yeah, but
of
you
the
wouldn't
use
touch
of the
door.
verb.
You would touch the door.
you touch the door.
Yeah.
Touch the wood.
You
But-
touch things, but you knock on things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I know what you're saying, but you're talking about a specific door. I'm talking about general wood.
touch doors.
Touch doors. Exactly.